Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another live show. And if you're new here, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. And in this channel, we focus on training dogs without the use of treats, food, aversive tools, force, or domination. And instead, we use a simple, fun method of dog training using play and praise reward system. In this live video session, I'm going to talk about how to train a dog that is not food motivated. I've been there, done that. So I will be talking about this topic this today. And also at the end of the show, I will be answering your questions. Let me just make sure that everything is working fine. If you can hear me and see me, let me know. Um, Let me just All right, so let's get started. So you may have a dog that is not food motivated and you want to train it. Maybe you have a dog who's not food motivated and has behavioral issues as well. The first thing that I want you to know and realize that there's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing wrong with your dog. That is normal. If a dog is not food motivated or if it's not responding to food, there's nothing wrong with that. I remember many years ago when I had Jonah, this Jonah, um, and he wasn't food motivated, and I felt like I was there was something wrong with me, and there was something wrong with me with my dog, and I felt like that I had a, a big problem in my hands that I couldn't do anything with this dog because wherever also we went, wherever whatever dog training programs that also we took, they were using treats and food to train dogs, and my dog was not food motivated. I couldn't get my dog to pay attention with or without food. I had to come up with a new plan to figure out how to deal with this situation. So in general, I felt bad, and I know where you are. And you may have a dog or dogs that are not food motivated, and you think that there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with dogs. First of all, I want you to know that there's nothing wrong. That's normal. That is natural way of dogs being that way. And that's all I had to hear when I had these challenges with my dogs. My dog in I would say in the first time I ever came across this issue. If somebody had just told me that there's nothing wrong with you and that is normal and natural for dogs to be like that, that would have just lifted a lot of weight off my shoulders. But nobody told me, and I figured it out later. So understand that it is natural that dogs are or maybe not food motivated. That is normal. It's something that we humans we bred and designed dogs to be working for us, living with us, be with us. And when we did that, we didn't implement or input information about uh, having dogs being food motivated or not. That wasn't part of the deal. Dogs in general are not food motivated. They don't live to eat, they eat to live. And domesticated dogs in general, they're different as well. So we have to be aware of that and understand this part that dogs or domesticated dogs are different than wolves. And when we have dogs, we don't need to focus on only food or treats to get them motivated. Dogs are motivated differently. Dogs are motivated by interactions. So, what does that mean when I talk about dogs are motivated by interactions? Because humans have designed and bred dogs to be with humans, uh, dogs are very connected to humans. They want to interact with humans and they want to be with humans. And when you understand this part that they are motivated by interaction with humans, a lot of issues can go away actually. When you understand that your dog will do anything for you for free, that's the key word. Dogs will do anything for you for free. The problem occurs when we start feeding them treats or food in hopes of them responding or uh, reacting to treats or food instead of a free form of treat or motivation, which is interaction. So understand this, that interaction is the most important reward for your dog. So interaction can be verbal praise or physical praise with your dog, playing and things like that. Um, Walking your dog can be a good reward interaction with your dog. Allowing your dog to work with you or work for you, it's another form of interaction. And training your dog, you know, physically and mentally stimulating your dog at the same time every day, it's another form of interaction. So what that means are that all these interactions are great rewards for your dog. So you can use, for example, play as well to reward your dog. You can also use praise to reward your dog, or you can use both of them to uh, reward your dog. You don't have to just depend on either play or praise. You can use both of them. I use both of them for training my dogs, my own personal dogs, and in most cases, I also use play and praise to reward my clients' dogs. And there are certain dogs that they don't respond to play or they don't respond to praise. In today's video, we're going to talk about those dogs who are responding to praise. Let's in this session, let's talk about dogs who are responding to praise and they're not responding to play. Okay. Um, but one thing that I want you to understand also is that play for dogs can mean work. So most dogs who are, let's call them working dogs, so-called working dogs, working breeds, are dogs who are actually playing. So a dog, for example, who's doing a search in a car on the border, you know, a police dog or who's working in a on the border, searching cars to see if there is any unusual things in the car. It's working, but it's in general is playing, is looking for something that it loves to uh, search for. And as soon as they find whatever they find, uh, the handler, the police officer, will play with that dog even more. That's the reward. So play can be a great reward. But let's say you have a dog who's not play motivated and it's maybe praise motivated. Okay, maybe it just responds to praise. So when it comes to praise and reward. I'm going to share a screen with you so you have a good understanding. Um, so when we talk about praising or rewarding a dog, there are two types of rewards. There are verbal and physical rewards. Understand this, first of all, that you're rewarding your dog either with both, actually, not either, with both. You're verbally and physically rewarding your dog. So there are two things that you're doing. You're either rewarding your dog or you're correcting your dog. And when you're rewarding or correcting your dog, there are two types of ways of doing it, either verbal or physical. So let's talk about first verbal rewards. The verbal rewards, simply you can tell your dog good boy or good girl, and that is the best reward for your dog. Believe it or not, you 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 have to really feel this, actually this reward. Saying to a dog good boy or a good girl is the best reward coming from human. Again, let's go back to the beginning, that dogs have been bred and designed by humans for humans. So a dog listening or hearing your voice saying good boy or good girl to it, to the dog, is the best reward, right? You can also say yes to your dog. Yes, good boy, good girl, with excited voice, and say that to your dog just verbally. When you say that, it's very rewarding for a dog. It has the one of the highest values for a dog, right? And many dog owners, they don't uh, use this option a lot. They think that by using verbal cues or verbal reward to their dog, it doesn't have much value. It doesn't care if I'm happy or not. But your dog values your emotions more than anything else, because dogs are very sensitive creatures. They love to connect themselves to the human, and they're very connected to their humans, and they're reading your feelings, they're sensing your feelings, they're feeling your emotions 24/7. So they're very connected to you, even though you feel like your dog is not very, doesn't care about you much. But I guarantee you that your dog loves you more than anything else and values you more than anything else, right? So use this and take advantage of this verbal cue of value, rewarding your dog. And the other part of a reward is physical reward. So when it comes to physical reward, when you pet your dog and you touch your dog, oh, you are now layering another form of um, value in top of the value of the verbal cues that you were giving to your dog. So you've been rewarding your dog verbally, and now you're petting your dog. That's like, you kick it up a notch, you put another layer in that reward. So petting your dog, and then on top of that, if you start playing with your dog, or you walk with your dog, or hang around your dog, oh my goodness, that is the best reward for a dog. That's the best thing. So especially if you have a dog who's not food motivated, and I guarantee you, if it's not food motivated, it's very very much connected to you, and it's very very much valuing your verbal and physical rewards. So you can always use this idea of rewarding your dog verbally and physically. You don't have to use treats. There's no need of using treats for a dog who's especially not food motivated. If you use food to reward a dog who's not food motivated, it's like a slap in the face of that dog. It's like devaluing the respect that a dog has for you and for humans in general. If you force a dog who's not food motivated to respond to a food, is like stabbing them from the back. They are going to be very disrespectful to you if you do that. And that is one of the main issues that I want you to understand, that you can't reward a dog who's food motivated with food, who's not food motivated with food, because then you are disrespecting that dog, right? So I'll talk about that a little bit more, but let's talk about also, correction. So we talked about verbal and physical reward. Now let's talk about correction. If your dog does something wrong, do you reward it, or do you let go, or do you just ignore it? When it comes to dogs, I always suggest dog owners to be fair to their dogs. Life is fair when we share both positive and negative emotions and experiences with our dogs. We can't just be positive, or we can't be just negative. We can't just be one of those only. We have to be both. We have to offer and share both experiences with our dogs, both negative and positive. If our dogs are doing something right, something good, go ahead and verbally and physically reward that dog. But if your dog is doing something wrong, something that is unwanted, something that is bad, you have to correct them as well. You have to share negative information with your dog, so your dog understands, first of all, that it has done a mistake, and second of all, uh, it experiences a natural phenomenon which is called negative experiences in life, right? Every human being, every kid, every living thing experiences both positive and negative experiences in life. So when it comes to correcting to your dog, when you say to your dog, uh, don't say to your dog, if you when you say to your dog, bad boy, bad girl, no, no, I'm not happy with you. When you say that, in that emotion, with that emotion, with that feeling, just, no, I don't like that. No, bad boy, bad girl. When you verbalize your emotions, dogs feel that too. Dogs say, oh, I made a mistake. I made a boo boo. My human is not happy. I did something wrong. They understand. They are very emotionally attached to you. Understand this part. I want you to really get this point, that they're very emotionally and uh, uh, deep inside connected to you, even though you feel like it's not, but it is. So verbally, you can tell your dog bad boy or bad girl or no, but in a low and sad, unhappy voice, right? No, I'm not happy with that. They will feel that. They will understand what you're saying. And as I said, when it comes to verbal and physical rewards and correction, we have two parts: verbal and physical correction as well. So there's a physical part as well. So the physical part of correction is you um, literally. I want to share with you the video as well. But if you don't pet your dog, if you don't interact with your dog, if you don't touch your dog, that is another form of the dog understanding, okay, I did something wrong. My human is not petting me. My human is not touching me. You can do a gentle leash corrections that I have shown in my videos. A gentle leash correction. You don't have to yank your dog. You don't have to physically uh, cause pain in your dog in order for your dog to understand it. Just physically, if you remove your dog from that uh, situation, also it's a good way of correction. Okay, so I'm going to share with you like how I would correct my dog if it was physical correction. Let me just find a video that I can show you. um, so basically what I want you to literally understand is that your dog is very connected to you physically, emotionally. It's very connected to you, and you need to be a little bit more aware of that and uh, be in touch with your dog in a different level, especially if you have a dog who's not food motivated. Uh, and if you, okay, there we go. If you,
Who's that?
so if you understand this part, that if you just verbally and physically be interacting with your dog, you can get great results out of your training or out of when you're living with your dog. So I just want to also show here that give you an example of how do you correct a dog physically as well.
Here's the key. Either
So in this example, I'm using a dog who is jumping on people. Okay, so how do we physically correct a dog? Okay.
if the dog is jumping on people, either you can distract the
Hmm.
dog with a squeaky, and get the dog to come towards the toy or you. Or the best thing to do is pull the leash to the side. Murray, who's that? Who's that? Nope. Good boy. That's what you want to do. So just before he goes and jumps on people, I pulled him to the side. So Murray, who's that? Who's that? Nope. Good boy. Yes. So pull the leash to the side. So he's focusing on me, and I'm praising him. I'm saying, yes, don't do that. All right, who's that? Who's that? Nope. Pull the leash to the side. Bring it back to you. Yes, good boy. Yes. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Good boy.
So that's how you do a physical correction, a gentle, physical correction. That's how it should be. You don't have to be aggressive. And because we are interacting with this dog, this dog is getting overwhelmed with all the information that is getting. But the physical correction and also the verbal correction is teaching him not to do certain behaviors. But also what I did there, it's not only just correct the dog, right? I praise the dog as well. Many dog owners forget to follow up with the praising the dog. It's not only about correcting the dog and getting that done and let go. You want to correct the dog if the dog is making a mistake. Make sure that the correction is proper, is not aggressive, is not light either. It's effective. If the dog is getting the idea of what you're trying to say and what you're trying to teach and what you're trying to avoid, the dog gets it. And as soon as it gets it, what do? You praise it, you celebrate, right? So you can see we're celebrating like hell, right? We're
So if
making
it
sure,
doesn't jump, it's a good time to share affection and praise the dog and just pet the dog as much as you want because he's doing great.
right? So that's what I mean when I talk about correction, okay? So correcting a dog is something that you want to learn as well, how to do it, how to do properly. And if any of these making sense to you, give it a thumbs up, Let me know in the also in the chat area if it's making sense. And also let me know, do you have a dog who's not food motivated? Are you having challenges and difficulties with your dog who's not food motivated? And also let me know if you want to work more in depth with this idea of training dogs without the use of treats or food, because I have a program that it can help you to overcome the challenges that you have with your dog. And if you want to learn more and if you want to work with me one on one, I have an application in the link below in the description that you can apply today. And we are very selective about the clients or the dogs that we work with. So we go through a application form. We're doing a video call as well to figure out if we are the right match to work together, if you are the right client for me, if I'm the right instructor for you. We figure this out and then we start working together. Whether we can work with together or not, we figured it out before we do anything. So the application form is in the description below. You can go ahead and apply with that there. So basically, all I wanted to give you some information regarding how to train a dog who's not food motivated. And overall, I want you to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your dog if you have a dog who's not food motivated. It's natural, it's normal. That's how it should be, and that's how it is. Dogs are not born uh, as food motivated animals. They're not. They are. They live to eat. They eat to live, not to live, not live to eat. They don't live to eat. They are eating to live. There's a difference. What that difference is they're not saying I have to eat in order to survive. They're saying I have to eat just to so I'm not hungry at the moment. That's the reason they eat, right? There are animals who live to eat, like cows, right? They always are eating, right? They're always chewing something, grass and all that, right? They're always eating. They're they have to be supplied food almost all day long, right? So understanding this is something that I want you to take in and use that. Also, remember that you can use verbal and physical rewards to reward your dog and train your dog. Just you saying good boy, good girl is a very valuable information to your dog and valuable uh, reward to your dog. So don't feel bad. Don't think that, um, oh, my dog doesn't value me saying good boy or good girl. It does. I guarantee you that it does a lot. Just take advantage of that and use that. So let me start answering some of your question. And I see that Cynthia Ingram is in the house. Cynthia Ingram is a member of the channel as well. Thank you for being here. And Cynthia is saying good morning, good afternoon from New Jersey. Thank you for being here. Saro, when I use verbal, and the question from Cynthia is, when I use verbal and physical rewards, it sends him an excited state where he jumps on me, my lap, etc. Then I have to say stop. I'm gonna answer Cynthia's question first because she's a member of the channel, and members of the channel always get the priority to get answered on the live shows. So this is a problem that I think is very common, and that is normal for a dog to get excited when you get excited. When you get excited and verbally and physically reward your dog that and gets excited, it's a good sign. That is because your dog is celebrating you, joining you and celebrating with you. So what I would say is celebrate, let it happen, and when the dog is calm, then start doing the training. If your purpose of rewarding your dog verbally and physically uh, because your dog has done something good, that is a good opportunity to that's a good opportunity to say, you know what, I appreciate that you're excited and I am happy that you're happy. Let's calm down for a second, and then we control and manage the situation. So what I want you to do is, if you're training your dog and you see that your dog is getting excited, if the purpose of the if the goal of the task that you're doing is training, I would suggest to put the dog on a leash and then train the dog. When you put a dog on a leash, it helps the dog to calm down. It makes the dog psychologically to get calmer and gives you an opportunity to control the situation better. So when the dog is on a leash, you can verbally and physically correct or reward the dog, um, and you can manage it better. I would always suggest to, if you, the purpose of it is training, is to have the dog on a leash before you do anything else, um, and then off leash the dog. So let me see if I can show you a video that it. I actually show how the thing um, how the process happens. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. Let me just go through the library to see if I can find that video. Um, where is it? All right, I'm going to use this video. Let me share the screen. So I'm going to start with.
Stay tuned because this is going to be a surprise.
So in the beginning,
Punish your leash.
I'm using this as an example. So I'm going to put the leash on,
And let's pretend that she's barking or she's doing
and I'm
something,
going to
or
train the
even
dog. I'm going to train the dog using the leash, and this way I have more control over my dog. If my dog does something wrong or something that is unwanted, even if it's funny, they're doing funny stuff, I can still control and manage it. And once the dog is, I've done the training, then I'll off leash the dog, right? So when it comes to training dogs, what I want you to do is um, make sure that first you do the training on leash and then do on a longer leash and then off leash. Or if you're training your dog at home, on a leash and then off leash. This way, you can have a better control and management of the dog's, uh, you know, behavior and situation. So basically, what I would suggest is, yes, when, for example, when you come home and you left your dog, for example, home alone or something, and you come home and you get excited and you're saying hi, hi, sweetie, and all that, then what happens is your dog gets excited, right? And that's not the time, for example, to reward the dog, right? And because you're adding more excitement to the excitement that is happening. So if you are going to physically and verbally reward your dog, make sure that you have some form of control over your dog. And if you repeat that control and management using the leash, what is going to happen? Eventually, the dog is going to learn that I need to control my state of mind and not to get too crazy. I can just physically and verbally get a little bit excited and then pause and stop. Uh, the problem is when that physical and mental state continues on, and the dog never learns to calm down either. We're not saying don't celebrate, don't get excited. We're not saying don't get rewarded. We're saying get excited, but control it and manage it as well. Right. So I hope that makes sense, Cynthia. Yes, it's a good idea to have the dog on a leash. Many dog owners they don't start with that. I always suggest to do training on leash. Once you have a good control, the leash is not there to punish the dog. The leash is not there to yank the dog. The leash is not there to force the dog or anything. The leash is there to, first of all, give you an opportunity to control the situation. And second of all, as soon as most dogs, at least, as soon as you put the leash on the dog, it psychologically changes their state of mind and brings their energy level a little bit lower, and it's much easier to control and manage it. Um, I would say, when also one additional tip is when you have the dog off leash, the dog has many choices. They can do many things. They can make a lot of mistakes. But when you put the leash on the dog, then you're giving the dog only one option, and you're saying, do this and do this, what I'm asking you to do. So you're reducing the stress level and of the dog completely, because without the leash, the dog could do anything, and that causes a lot of stress in dogs. But when you put the leash on, it reduces the stress. And Cynthia, thank you for being here and watching the live show. Let's go to the next question which is from yours truly, Alisa. How can I get my dog to drink more water? Any suggestion? Also, I want to teach my dog to shake. Any suggestion to train him with other treats? Hmm. Shaking and drinking water, these are something that they are very, uh, these are things that a dog does it anyways. But if they need to do it, they will do it. Um, if they need to drink water, they will drink water. If they need to shake, they will shake. Uh, you know, Drinking water is something that depends on if the dog is thirsty, they will drink. Shaking is something that if a dog is feeling stressed or anxious, usually they do automatically, they shake. Um, so yeah, these are things that you don't want to train the dog to do it. You just want to let the dog be. I don't think that these are things that you need to train the dog. These are things that you have to allow the dog to be. So if your dog is not drinking more water, that means it doesn't need to. Uh, you don't have to force it to drink water. If it needs to, it will drink. They know what they're supposed to do with their system, with their body. And shaking is something that they will do it if they feel it's needed to shake. So unfortunately, I don't have an better answer than this. It's something that you have to let the dog be. Let's go to next question is from Isabel and says, good morning from California. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you're doing well. You're feeling safe there. I heard what's going on in California. I hope you're in the safe zone. Um, let's see. I feel my fox terrier is motivated by hunting. Food or interactions are secondary if I give her the chance to chase the squirrel or catch the mouse in the barn. So yes, so fox terriers are definitely driven by hunt. They're bred. So here's a good example of a dog who's been bred and designed by humans for certain reason. We bred and uh, designed these fox terriers uh, to chase, squirrels and mouse and things like that to get them uh, away from us. That was the reason why we bred them. So you have to allow your dog to be doing that. It's a natural curse that happens in this type of breed. The only thing that I would say is if your dog is motivated by that, by hunting, you want to learn also and teach your dog how to control and manage that situation. Uh, Fox terriers, and also including beagles, they have been bred also to work side by side with humans. But they have that option of being independent as well. So they can go do their task and come back to the human, just like beagles, right? Um, so I would say let your um, fox terrier, your dog, to be. Just give me a. Let me see if I can find a video. Uh, let me see if I can find. Um, in general, you want to allow them to be, and but also you want to be controlling them as well. So the way you control them is you train them to work beside you, by you, but also be going and doing their own thing on their own. Uh, so training is very important for this type of breed of dogs, that you can't just let them go and do their thing, because if you allow them to do that, they will drive themselves crazy all day long. They will look for things. What do you want to do? You want to say, you stay with me, but you go do your work when I'd ask you to do. You can let them be, you can let them do their thing, or you can create situations and um, uh, conditions that mimics squirrels or mouse or things like that. Control environment, control training, to get the dog um, to be more manageable, so we can handle the dog. Let me see if I can show. I'm looking for a video to give you an example. I'm going to use this video, I think. Um, Let me use this video. Okay, I'm going to use this video.
Okay, so I have to practice this.
So what I mean by this example is, first of all, this is a controlled environment, controlled situation that we are working on the dog now. Obviously, there's no mouse, there's no squirrels in there, but we can use whatever that your dog is motivated with. And here's an example of how you control and train a dog to be managed by human.
A lot, many times with my dog. Cookie command no matter what happens. Your dog must have or is committed to something. You have to find that thing that your dog is committed. Is it the toy? Is it the sausage? Whatever it is that your dog is so committed to it that it's going to break all the rules. You have to bring that in the picture and practice it with your dog. So again, I'm going to practice this with Annie. So Annie, sit, stay. So my command has to be really clear and to the point. So Annie, stay. Very good. She's not moving a muscle. She's looking at it.
So what I want to point out here, this ball, for example, which Annie really loves, can represent a mouse, can represent a squirrel, can represent whatever that is distracting your dog, right? So this is how you train a hunting dog to be under control.
There we go. If I can control this now, that ball represents guests. If I can control my dog now, good luck to me when the guests come home. So this is why I have to bulletproof the sit and stay to the point that she doesn't move. Okay, go get it. All right. Okay, so I'm rewarding her because she didn't move a muscle, but I still have a little bit of more work to do. So what I'm going to do, you can do on or off leash if you want, and practice this with your dog. Okay, whatever works. Sit, stay. Make sure the command is given nice and clearly. Stay. She moved, right? So what I'm going to do, if she moves, what I'm going to do, Annie, nope. Nope. I'm going to give her a verbal correction. Nope. Still have to make it a little bit more bulletproof. Sit. Stay. Nope. 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 That's amazing. That's that's I don't have any words for it. You know, for practicing for 5 minutes now, she's doing really good. Good girl, go get it. Okay, so
So I just wanted you to see that as an example how what I mean by um, having a control over your dog. You know, you put the leash on, you train your dog, you get the dog to you get whatever is very attractive to your dog, and you use that and start controlling and managing your dog in a controlled and uh, manageable environment, right? So in this case, I'm using the ball that Annie really loves in an environment that is indoors. There's no distractions other than the ball, and we're practicing control and management. So if I practice this over and over to the point that I can control my dog verbally and ask it to just don't react to certain things, in this case to a ball, which is really a high level of distraction for any for my in my case. And I don't know about you, your dog. You can pick whatever your dog is valuing the most. If it's food, you can use food, for example, as a distraction. You're not using food as training rewards or anything like that. You're using food as as distractions. You can use food if your dog is really crazy about food. You can use food But in this case, I'm using Annie's toy. And if I can control this in this situation, then what will happen is that eventually I am going to be able to control my dog also in outdoor environments, that there are squirrels and mouse and things are moving around. I can control it because I have done this homework of practicing and bulletproofing my dog's um, feelings and emotions regarding anything that moves out there. I hope that makes sense. I hope you got something out of that. Uh, Cynthia has a follow-up question. My dog has started sitting in front of me, staring at sitting when I eat my food. I tell him to move back, and he does. What does this behavior mean, and why does he do it? What am I missing? Well, in, probably your dog wants you share the food that you're eating with your dog. Probably you have table fed your dog, and your dog has got to the point that says, if I sit and wait and stare at my human, eventually my human is going to give up and give me something to eat. If you don't like that, if you don't want that to happen, you can put your dog in a crate or in a different room, uh, or even give your dog a distance. Ask your dog to give you a distance and be further from the dining table, for example, and lie down or sleep or stay there, uh, instead of being by your table, by your dining table. If it's sitting and staring and begging, then if you don't like that, then the solution is to ask your dog to either be in a different room in a crate, or give you some distance and stay there without bothering you. But if you want that, if you want to share food with your dog, which in my opinion, again, there's nothing wrong with sharing food with your dogs. If your dog likes that and you like that, why not share food from your table? The only trouble that I have, I mean, the only issue that I have with this issue, situation like this, like the question is, do I table feed my dog? For example, do I let my dog on the furniture? Do I let my dog to come and sleep in my bed? All these questions are similar. And my answer to those is, you have to choose whether you want to do it or not. Dogs are black and white. They are either yes or no. You either share the food with the dog, or you don't share food the dog with the dog. You either share it or not. It's not like, oh, today you can share it, but tomorrow I can't share it with you because the guests are we have guests, we can't share food with you. Or tomorrow I don't feel like sharing. You can't be like that, right? You have to be fair to your dog, and ask your dog, allow your dog to do do that behavior or not to do that behavior. So it's up to you to choose whether you want to allow your dog to be table fed or not. If you don't want your dog to be table fed, you don't want to table feed your dog, then come up with a boundary. You ask your dog to give you space, go further, go sit somewhere else, or go in a different room, or you go in a crate. Give some space, give them some distance. If you want to give your food, if you want to share your food with your dog, then just go ahead and share it. The problem is when we confuse our dogs by being picky one day, and then next, that confuses and stresses the dog. So I suggest you to uh, That's what basically it is your dog is asking to share food. It's up to you if you want to share the food or not. If you're going to share the food all the time. Don't get stressed about it. If you don't like to share your food with your dog, then just don't share and ask your dog to give you some space. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right. So we are at the end of the show. I hope you had a good session today and you learned something and you benefited from the program today. If you are, again, if you want to work with me and if you uh, have a dog who's not food motivated and you want to make it better, make your relationship better, you get your dog to learn from you with a proven dog training method which uses play and praise to reward your dog. I have an application in the links below that you can go ahead and apply to see if we are a good match. We are very selective about the students and the clients that we select to work with. We want to make sure that I am the right person to work with you and you are the right person to work with me. And if you have a dog who's not food motivated, this is an ideal situation, an ideal way of learning and training dogs and getting your dog to listen to you. I have a program which is called Perfect Dog Plan. It's a very effective form of training dogs, and I have lots of students, and we're working with a few students at the moment as well. There are some limited spaces that I take in students. The program is very customizable. It's a very unique method of dog training and unique way of learning as well. We don't use treats to train dogs. You get lifetime access to the program. We do weekly coaching calls where you can ask your questions and concerns and discuss that with me, and then we come up with solutions. We have monthly workshops, and it's a lifetime program and lifetime support, one-on-one coaching with me. You have video lessons that you can go on your own, and or if you want to work with me one-on-one, um, we support you all the time, 24/7, using email, video calls, and weekly coaching calls. So if that's something that you're interested, the application is in the description below, and hopefully I will see you then. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining the program. Oh my goodness, Cynthia, that is very nice of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support, and I wish you all the best. I hope you can have a good solutions now with your dog. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I very appreciative from my viewers and my members of the channel who do support the channel. And if you like to support the channel just like Cynthia, please feel free to support the channel. Anytime you possible, you can support by super chat or by anytime you watch a video of my channel, there is an option of also um, gifting to the channel as well. Thank you very much, Cynthia. I really appreciate that. You made my day. And until next time, have fun with your dog, and I'll see you next time. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I forgot to say that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well and hit the bell icon so you will get notified as soon as I post a new video or if I go live. And until next time, have fun with your dog. Thank you. Take care. Bye.